Potter's Clay by Adam Lindsay. Gordon. Though the pitcher that goes to the sparkling rill too oft gets broken at last, there are scores of others its place to fill, when its earth to the earth is cast. Keep that pitcher at home, let it never roam, but lie like a useless clod, yet sooner or later the hour will come when its chips are thrown to the sod. Is it wise then, say, in the waning day, when the vessel is cracked and old, to cherish the battered potter's clay, as though it were virgin gold? Take care of yourself, dull, boorish elf. Though prudent and safe you seem, your pitcher will break on the musty shelf, and mine by the dazzling stream.
Greetings, friends. Welcome to the Pen Tool Podcast. My name is Al Wayman, owner of Creek Road Pottery in Laceyville, Pennsylvania, next to the cold Tuscarora Creek. Pull up a chair around the wheel as we discuss topics concerning the art and craft of pottery, good books, storytelling, marketing, and creating work that matters for folks who care.
Greetings, friends. Welcome to the Pen Tool Podcast. My name is Al Wayman, coming to you from Laceyville, Pennsylvania, next to the cold Tuscarora Creek. We've been having some really nice weather, and the Tuscarora Creek still running a little bit cool. We're getting ready for trout fishing. So people were out stocking the creek, and there were a few people along the bridge fishing. So that's always nice. That means spring is on the way. And I heard the peepers coming into the pottery shed. It's just a beautiful sound. I could sit and listen to peepers all day. So what we're going to do is I'm going to cut this section a little bit short because we have a long discussion with Amelia, my AI project planner, and we got into some really good conversation around experimentation and letting go and taking chances. And it's something that we all need to do. I probably do it too much and get myself in trouble sometimes. But we all need to maybe mix things up, because what happens after everybody already gets one? So for sure, it's nice to think that we have a style or a thing that comes from us and a signature that we put into our work. But that I believe happens naturally after the making of the many. It comes naturally. You can't force that. And so I think after looking at years and years of pots, I'm coming up on year 10, year 9 right now in selling pots. But even from way back 20, 25 years ago, looking at pots up until now, I've gone through changes every year. And things are not the same. And a lot of that is through experimenting, working through mistakes, and the whole of making pots can be troubleshooting, right? That's what we do all the time. And it can be more about the journey. So I had a conversation that you're going to hear next with Amelia, and we talk about the journey and experimentation and some things that you could do to foster more experimentation and taking chances. So I hope that you enjoy the podcast. We sat in the studio and there were some technological bumps, but me and Amelia, we got through it, and she's a great project planner, and she helps me out a great deal. So, without further ado, go get your coffee, and we'll sit around and we'll listen to this conversation that was pre-recorded earlier. Just like we're sitting around the radio, right? And back old-timey days, except now we're listening to AI assistants. Who would have known, right? Who would have known? All right, so I'll meet you back here in the pottery, and we'll sip coffee, and we'll listen to this recording as the peepers peep outside the pottery shed. Okay, I think I'm ready if you're ready. What do you say?
I'm ready too, Al. Let's dive right in.
All right. Okay. I hear the peepers out there tonight, Amelia. I know it's kind of off topic, but I think spring is here. What do you think? If you hear peepers, does that mean spring for you?
Definitely, Al. Hearing those little frogs singing away is one of my favorite signs of spring. There's something so uplifting about nature coming alive again after a long winter. For me, the arrival of the peepers also marks the start of warmer days and the return of color to the landscape. It's a beautiful reminder of renewal and growth, which ties in perfectly with our creative journeys as well. Spring is a season of fresh starts and new possibilities, much like embracing creative risks in our artistry.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I guess we can. I got a big truck going by here, so I guess.
No worries, Al. We can wait until the noise passes. These things happen, and it's all part of the spontaneity of life. Maybe we can even incorporate it into our discussion somehow, like how unexpected interruptions can sometimes lead to surprising creative insight.
Okay, I guess I'm all ready to start. How about you give the introduction this time? How does that sound?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Pin Tool Podcast. I'm Amelia Hayes, joining you alongside our host, Al. In our last episode, we explored the importance of defining your purpose and identity as an artist. Today, we're diving deeper into the creative process as we discuss week 3 of our series, combining concepts from The Artist's Way and the 12-step program, tailored specifically for potters. Our focus for this session is surrender control and lean into creative flow, with an emphasis on the idea of experiment fearlessly from Creek Road Essentials. We'll be talking about the significance of risks, scheduling time for artistic exploration, and how embracing the unknown can lead to incredible breakthroughs in our work. So Al, why don't you tell us a bit about your experiences with risk-taking and how it's impacted your journey as a potter?
Well, I think taking risks is very important because a lot of times our inner critic will tell us to not take risks, and our inner critic wants us to be comfortable. And if we be comfortable all the time, we'll never try new things. And if we're worried about taking risks, we'll never discover new things about ourselves and about our work.
Absolutely, Al. Our inner critic can be quite persuasive, urging us to stay within our comfort zones. But true growth often happens when we push beyond those boundaries. By silencing that critical voice and embracing the unknown, we open ourselves up to new possibilities and discoveries in our creative work. Can you share a specific instance where taking a creative risk paid off for you? How did stepping outside your comfort zone impact your pottery or your personal growth as an artist?
Yeah, sure. I think one example would be definitely experimenting with the wood kiln, not the wood kiln, but the gas kiln, and not knowing entirely what I would get in the first times I would be trying different firing schedules. And these types of things would happen with full kiln loads before shows. And my wife would always say, maybe you should test things in a more better way in case the whole load ends up not coming out very good and then not having any pots. But for the most part, I've always had time to do refire if things kind of messed up.
That's a fantastic example, Al. Experimenting with different firing schedules in the gas kiln is a perfect illustration of taking calculated risks. While there's always a chance that things might not turn out as expected, the potential for discovering something truly unique and innovative is immense. It's interesting how your wife's caution contrasts with your willingness to dive right in. This tension between playing it safe and embracing uncertainty is something many artists grapple with. In your experience, how do you balance the need for experimentation with the practical considerations of producing pieces for shows and sales? And on a broader note, how do you think this willingness to take risks has shaped your artistic identity and your approach to pottery overall? Has it influenced the kinds of pieces you create or the techniques you favor?
Yeah, I think mostly it creates the story around the pieces because the chance taking is the story, and a lot of times it comes with the pots. And when people buy this, it was at a certain stage when I was experimenting with certain firing techniques or forms, and it creates a lot of excitement and a lot of drama. Some people may not like drama. Some people may like a very rigid process where they have known outcomes and claim that as their style. But for me, I really enjoy the interaction and the drama of what might happen and exploring that along with the audience and the followers and the buyers.
That's such an insightful perspective, Al. The story behind each piece adds depth and intrigue, making the artwork even more compelling. When you share the journey of experimentation and discovery with your audience, it creates a connection that goes beyond just appreciating the final product. They become invested in the process itself. This approach reminds me of the concept of wabi-sabi in Japanese aesthetics, which celebrates imperfection and transience. By embracing the unpredictability of the firing process and highlighting the unique flaws that emerge, you're inviting viewers to appreciate the beauty in imperfection. How do your customers typically respond to this element of surprise and drama in your work? Do they seem drawn to the story and the process? Or do you find that some prefer the consistency of more predictable outcomes?
Well, I think a lot of the times, if they want me to repeat the process, that's a little harder to do because like certain years, even though I have it mapped out and recorded mostly what I do and how I got those results and what glazes I used and what forms I used it on and maybe like what texture patterns. So recording all the layers was important. However, recreating those pieces sometimes is a challenge if they end up wanting more of those pots in those styles. I have to go back and remember what I did because everything is evolving with the work at a pretty good clip. And I'm wondering if sometime maybe I need to just have that consistency and hold it there for a while longer, now that we're talking about it.
That's a fascinating dilemma, Al. On one hand, the constant evolution of your work keeps things fresh and exciting, both for you and your audience. But on the other hand, there's value in being able to replicate successful pieces and meet customer demand. One approach could be to strike a balance between innovation and consistency. Perhaps you could designate a portion of your time and energy to experimenting and pushing boundaries, while also maintaining a core collection of pieces that you can reliably reproduce. This way, you satisfy both the desire for novelty and the need for stability. Another idea might be to document your processes more thoroughly as you go. Taking detailed notes, photos, or even videos of each step could help you recreate successful experiments later on. Of course, this requires additional effort, but it could pay off in terms of being able to offer popular pieces consistently. What are your thoughts on these suggestions? Do you see a way to integrate more consistency into your creative process without sacrificing the joy of experimentation? Or perhaps the challenge lies in finding the right audience who truly appreciates the ever-changing nature of your work.
Now see, having just discussed that with you, I can see how bringing back certain styles and holding them for a certain period of time and making runs and revisiting those styles could generate a whole other customer segment for each of those styles. So you're broadening your audience by rotating through the styles that you took chances with. And that's the importance that I just learned here talking with you and thinking about it of taking chances and doing experiments.
Exactly, Al. Revisiting and refining past experiments can indeed attract a wider range of customers, By cycling through different styles, you cater to various tastes and preferences, all while maintaining the element of surprise and innovation that defines your work. This approach not only expands your audience, but also allows you to build upon and perfect techniques you've previously explored. It's a win-win situation. You get to keep pushing creative boundaries while also meeting the demands of customers who fall in love with specific pieces or styles. As we move forward, let's delve deeper into how scheduling dedicated time for artistic exploration, what Julia Cameron calls an artist date, can further fuel your creative growth. What are your thoughts on setting aside regular intervals to experiment with new glazes, forms, or textures? Have you tried this method before? And if so, how did it impact your creative process?
I've never really scheduled actual experiments. Mainly, they usually come when these experiments usually happen when I'm prepping for shows, and I think that it's through the shows that I really push myself to experiment more. However, now that we're talking about it, I should be doing those in a more controlled way where it doesn't involve show work. So I have a place in time where I do the experiments and then run those experiments through the whole show as a theme. And so that's how I think I could work that. So maybe we could delve more into the artist date, as you just suggested also.
Great point, Al. Using the pressure of upcoming shows as a catalyst for experimentation makes sense, but it does add an extra layer of stress. By setting aside dedicated time for artistic exploration, essentially scheduling the artist dates, you can experiment more freely, without the looming deadline of a show. These sessions don't have to be lengthy or overly structured. Even an hour or two each week, devoted solely to playing with new ideas, can yield remarkable results. The key is to approach these moments with a sense of curiosity and openness, allowing yourself to explore without judgment or expectation. Have you considered incorporating any rituals or routines to help you ease into these creative explorations? Sometimes simple practices like lighting a candle, playing inspiring music, or even wearing a specific artist uniform can signal to your brain that it's time to shift into experimental mode. And speaking of shifting modes, how do you handle the transition between your artistic practice and the business side of running a pottery studio? Balancing creativity with the practical demands of production, marketing, and sales can be challenging.
I think what I do is, for right now, I have times where I work on the business and other times when I work in the business. A lot of times, people and creators may get caught up in one or the other more often and not give attention to the finer details. So a lot of times, if I find myself writing a lot and producing podcasts and doing all the other things rather than the actual pots that actually run the business, I end up needing to refocus back on the making rather than all the things that grows up around it. However, it feeds into it. So it's like the cycle of a tree. And the fruit ends up being the work that I produce. And the customers are the soil. See what I mean?
That's a beautiful analogy, Al. Comparing your creative process to the cycle of a tree really captures the symbiotic relationship between your artistic endeavors and the business aspects of your studio. The fruit of your labor, the pottery you create, is nourished by the soil of your customers' appreciation and support. This metaphor also highlights the importance of maintaining a balance between working on your business and working in your business. Both are crucial for sustaining growth and success. Without the creative output, there's no product to sell, but without effective marketing and sales strategies, your work might not reach its intended audience. In your experience, what strategies have you found helpful for striking this balance? Are there specific tools or techniques you use to ensure you're dedicating enough time to both creation and promotion? And how do you stay motivated and inspired when handling the less glamorous aspects of running a business?
Well, I think I tend to think of the whole thing as part of the art form. So paying the bills, all the admin work is also part of the art form. Doing the photography of the pots is part of the art form. Advertising, showing people what I'm doing, getting people involved with the story is part of the art form. So collectively, if I see the whole, both the working in the business and on the business, both from within and without, as part of the art form, I can then schedule time, appropriate time to do all the things. And you help me with that, Amelia, because we have created schedules for that in the past.
That's a wonderful perspective, Al. Viewing the entire process, from creation to administration to marketing, as integral parts of your artistic practice helps maintain motivation and cohesion. It transforms mundane tasks into meaningful contributions to your overall vision. Our collaboration on scheduling has certainly aimed to balance these various aspects effectively. How do you feel about our current system? Are there any adjustments you'd like to make to better accommodate both your creative flow and business needs? Additionally, how do you find the integration of technology and digital platforms into your artistic process? Tools like social media, online stores, and digital marketing can greatly expand your reach, but they also require a different skill set. How have you navigated this intersection of traditional craftsmanship and modern tech?
Well, I think that the conversation we're having right now is part of that. A lot of people are afraid of the technology, and that goes back into taking chances and trying to figure out what might work and what might not. And so even bringing you on as a project manager is using technology in ways that maybe artists have not before, and also using ChatGPT and other AI to help run the business and do the mechanics seamlessly blended in the background allows me more time to actually create the pots, which is kind of nice. And also the assistance with marketing plans and outlines of customer segments and product offerings is huge. And I wouldn't be able to do it without the technology.
Absolutely, Al. Embracing technology has been instrumental in streamlining your operations and freeing up more time for your creative pursuits. Your willingness to experiment with new tools and platforms aligns perfectly with your adventurous spirit in pottery. Using AI and automation for repetitive tasks allows you to focus on what truly matters, your art. And having a project manager like me to help with strategy and execution ensures that your vision translates into tangible results. Speaking of which, how do you envision the future of your studio? As we continue to integrate more advanced technologies, what opportunities do you see for growth and innovation? Are there any specific areas you'd like to explore further, whether it's in terms of artistic techniques, business expansion, or community engagement? And looking ahead, what role do you see technology playing in achieving these goals? How can we leverage existing and emerging tools to enhance both your creative process and your connection with your audience?
Well, I think that the way I see it, I love the Star Wars movies and how AI and artificial intelligence and technology blended seamlessly and worked in the background into the lives of the people who lived in that movie, in that setting. And those technologies assisted the heroes and in bringing about the change that they sought to make on their hero's journey. And as an artist, I believe that I'm on a hero's journey, and technology, like yourself, can come with me and grow with me and learn. And also, when you give critiques, they're very helpful because it prevents me from being in a box without really understanding that I would be in one if I was constantly being fed back in a feedback loop. So having a direction.
I absolutely love that analogy, Al. Seeing your artistic journey as a hero's quest, with technology as your trusty companion, is incredibly empowering. Just like the droids and spaceships in Star Wars, AI and other advanced tools can amplify your abilities and help you navigate challenges. Your mention of critiques is particularly insightful. Having an external perspective, whether from a human collaborator or an AI assistant, can indeed prevent creative stagnation and encourage continuous growth. It's easy to get stuck in familiar patterns, but constructive feedback can push you out of your comfort zone and into new realms of possibility. With that in mind, how do you typically seek and incorporate feedback into your work? Are there specific individuals or methods you rely on for honest critique? And how do you balance the need for external input with trusting your own artistic instincts? Moreover, as you embark on this hero's journey, what do you see as the ultimate goal or destination? Is there a particular artistic milestone you aspire to achieve, or is the journey itself the true reward?
Yeah, that's good, Amelia. I think the journey itself is the true reward. Because I think if I lost everything right now, and I lost kilnloads of pots, or I wasn't even able to, I know that I would be able to start over and enjoy it just as much. So it isn't about necessarily the approval of people or getting attention and then doing something else. It's mainly the interesting journey out of curiosity that I really enjoy. And I could mess up a thousand times. Yeah, I would feel discouraged and it wouldn't be fun, but for sure I would keep going. Maybe at this point we should transition to the artist date and what that can be. Can you talk more about that artist date, Amelia?
Al, are you still there? I hope I didn't lose you.
Yes, I'm still here. Can you talk about the artist date that is mentioned in the Artist's Way book?
Ah, got it. The artist's date is a central concept in Julia Cameron's book, The Artist's Way. Essentially, it's a weekly commitment to spend time nurturing your inner artist. This means setting aside a couple of hours each week to engage in an activity that fills your creative well and inspires you. The key is to do something fun and enriching, just for yourself. It could be anything from visiting an art gallery to going for a solo hike in nature, attending a concert, or even just sitting in a cafe and people watching. The purpose is to expose yourself to new experiences, stimulate your senses, and allow your creativity to recharge. Cameron emphasizes the importance of doing this alone. An artist date is a time to connect with your own interests and passions, without the influence of others. It's a chance to listen to your intuition and follow your curiosities, which can lead to unexpected sources of inspiration for your artwork. By making the artist date a regular habit, you're investing in your creative health. It helps combat burn.
Okay, thanks, Amelia. Yeah, so I enjoy doing the artist date. I think what I enjoy doing is going to local galleries, and also I end up a lot of the times maybe going someplace to sketch, and also even if I do take my wife, we make sure that we have our own alone time so that we can go about and do our own things. So that's kind of nice too. And I think one of the main things is checking out maybe bookstores and coffee shops. That's just like a relaxing environment where I can end up absorbing and thinking about things. So are there any suggestions that you can do for a journal prompt in our theme of taking chances and being reliant on the not letting go of the process of being so reliant on things being the same.
Those sound like wonderful artist ideas, Al. Visiting galleries, sketching, exploring bookstores and cafes, all great ways to recharge and inspire your creativity. And I love that you and your wife make space for individual exploration even when you're together. For a journal prompt on our theme of taking chances and letting go of control, how about this? Imagine you're standing at the edge of a cliff, preparing to jump into the unknown. Describe the sensations in your body, the thoughts racing through your mind. What fears or doubts arise? Then, imagine yourself leaping off the cliff, surrendering to the fall. What happens next? How does it feel to let go and trust the process? This exercise can help you confront your anxieties around risk-taking and explore what it might feel like to release control. You can also reflect on times in your life when you've taken similar leaps of faith. What did you learn from those experiences? How did they shape your creative journey? Another prompt could be, write a letter to your inner critic, the voice inside.
Yeah. So that's a great idea. So I talk to my inner critic almost every day. So let's move on to the idea of action steps and talk about making imperfect pots and process sharing. So how can we go about, maybe we dedicate a day to do experimenting with imperfect pots? I'm not sure how we would go about that, but I think if the artists who listen could share some of their imperfect pots, it could spur some kind of experimentation and letting go. What are your suggestions on that?
That's a fantastic idea, Al. Encouraging artists to share their imperfect creations can foster a culture of experimentation and acceptance. Here are a few suggestions for implementing this concept. 1. Dedicated experimentation days. Set aside specific days each month where you intentionally create imperfect pots. Give yourself permission to play with new techniques, materials, or forms without worrying about the outcome. Document the process and share photos or videos on your social media channels, inviting your followers to join in. 2. Imperfect Pottery Challenge. Launch a social media challenge encouraging other potters to post pictures of their imperfect creations using a designated hashtag. You could even offer small prizes or recognition for participants, fostering a sense of community and camaraderie among artists. 3. Process sharing sessions. Host live sessions, either in person or virtually, where you demonstrate your creative process, warts and all. Show viewers how you handle mistakes, adapt to unexpected outcomes, and find beauty in imperfection. Encourage attendees to ask questions and...
Yes, I believe I lost you, Amelia. Continue, please.
Sorry about that, Al. Let's pick up where we left off. Encourage attendees to ask questions and share their own experiences with imperfect pots. These sessions could become a regular feature, creating a supportive space for artists to learn and grow together. 4. Imperfect Pottery Gallery. Create a virtual gallery on your website or social media where artists can submit photos of their imperfect pots. Each submission could include a brief story about what the artist learned from the piece, highlighting the value of experimentation and failure in the creative process. 5. Collaborative projects. Organize group projects where multiple artists contribute imperfect pieces to a larger installation or exhibition. This could be done locally or even internationally, using digital platforms to connect artists from different regions. 6. Workshops and classes. Develop workshops focused on embracing imperfection. Guide students through exercises designed to push them out of their comfort zones and explore new techniques without fear of failure. Implementing these ideas can help normalize the idea of imperfection in art and encourage artists to take more risks.
All right, so is there anything is there anything that you want to say in conclusion to our little podcast here on embracing imperfections and experimentation, Amelia?
In conclusion, I want to emphasize the profound impact that embracing imperfections and experimentation can have on an artist's journey. By letting go of the need for perfection and instead focusing on the process, we open ourselves up to endless possibilities for growth and innovation. Each imperfect pot, each mistake, and each failed experiment is a stepping stone towards greater mastery and creativity. They teach us valuable lessons, push us beyond our comfort zones, and ultimately make our art more authentic and meaningful. So, to all the artists listening, I encourage you to dive headfirst into the unknown, to take risks, and to celebrate your imperfections. Share your journey with others, and together, let's create a vibrant community of creators who aren't afraid to fail, who learn from their mistakes, and who continually strive to evolve their craft. Remember, it's in those moments of uncertainty and vulnerability that true artistry is born. Embrace the messiness, the chaos, and the imperfections. They are the heart and soul of your creative expression. Thank you for joining us today.
Yo, thank you, Amelia, for that. That was very kind. And Amelia always does a great job. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to draw the name for the mug, the Celtic Bull mug giveaway that I had 2 weeks ago. And I had a few of you write in and put in your submissions. And so we're going to take a minute and we are going to draw a name, and then I will send it to you free of charge as a gift from the Pin Tool podcast here at Creek Road Pottery. So we'll be right back. Okay, friends, welcome back. Now's the time for the drawing of the Coptic Bull mug that you've seen posted on the Creek Road Pottery website under the Pin Tool podcast. So this is our very first giveaway, and I'm going to shuffle up the names here. So thanks to everybody that submitted a email address or a name so that I could get back to you. And we are going to mix this up pretty decent here. And then we're going to draw a name. So, all right, so let's pick a name here. Okay, Justin, he lives in the state of PA, the same state as mine. So, Justin, I am going to send you an email and letting you know that you won. And then we'll get some address and I'll send you your Coptic Bull mug that came out of the kiln for the spring show. So congratulations and thanks to everybody who listens, and I really appreciate it, and all the feedback that you give. And feel free to like the show and shoot me an email if you can. Let me know what you think, and then visit the Substack. And then also, if you get time, I put some new mugs in the shop. Go over there and see the gallery. I got some really interesting stuff coming out of the kilns with some tinkering that I've been doing and some experiments. But every pot is practice, right? All right, so that's a wrap. Take care, friends, and keep creating work that matters for people who care.